Artificial intelligence is undoubtedly causing the biggest industrial revolution we have ever seen. So the question becomes, if this is an industrial revolution, how big will it be? And how can we position ourselves for it? Because for every industrial revolution, there are two sides. The side that rides the wave of the technology, and the side that becomes disrupted and replaced. So the logical conclusion is, how can we position ourselves to ride the wave? I would even go further and say, this is more than industrial revolution. This is going to be an economic singularity. There is an old saying that civilization advances one death at a time. While this is somewhat true, it ignores an entire other part of the equation, which is that civilization advances at the pace of procreation. There are four fundamental pillars to a civilization or to economic growth: materials, energy, intelligence, and labor. Materials and energy we combine to create technology. Intelligence and labor is the procreation of humans. Without intelligence and labor, there is no technology. So intelligence and labor are the two fundamental pillars of civilizational expansion or of economic growth. It is productivity or GDP. So if you look at the pace of civilizational growth, it literally matches the pace of population growth. Here's a chart of population growth over the past 2,000 years. You can see that we start to have a pretty strong exponential as we come towards present day. Now here is a chart of economic growth over the past 2,000 years, and you have the same effect. But the interesting thing is what happens whenever you have a lot of intelligence and labor in the world. Whenever you have a lot of humans, a lot of intelligence and labor in the world, you can start to create more complex technologies. And these technologies give us leverage to create even more complex technologies. And eventually, you get to the point where you create something like artificial intelligence. And the crazy thing about something like artificial intelligence is the fact that it's physically extending the cognitive capabilities of every single human. So not only do we have a lot of humans, but now every single human is much, much smarter than they once were. And then you could eventually create something like an AGI, where it is its own autonomous system that deploys itself to the economy similar to a human. And it also has physical labor that it can use as well. So now you have the ability to manufacture intelligence and labor at any pace you so desire, meaning the only fundamental constraints are no longer intelligence and labor, but it's just energy and materials. So now you're only constrained by the speed at which you can effectively capture and deploy energy and materials, which we're currently working on breakthroughs in nuclear fusion. There's also people looking into space mining right now. And this is where you get to the point where you have an economic singularity, because we are no longer constrained by intelligence and labor. We can manufacture it at any pace we so desire, giving us the ability to have infinite levels of economic growth without having to procreate and then wait 20 years and train this child to become economically viable. The artificial intelligence is hyper intelligent, more intelligent than any human, and it's economically viable on day one. And then it has a robotic form eventually that is going to be better than any human on day one. And now you can scale a civilization at the pace of energy capture and deployment and materials capture and deployment. And that is it. So at this point, there really are no real limits to the scale of your civilization and the speed at which you can grow it. It's now something that you can decide by simply turning a nozzle, which this is why they call it the economic singularity, not just an industrial revolution, because it's on a much greater magnitude than any industrial revolution humans have ever been able to fathom. Currently, the economy doubles about every 18 years, and as long as artificial intelligence continues to advance at the rate that it is, which there's no reason to assume that it won't, by 2045 or around that time, there has been many people who have mathematically modeled, especially people like Robin Hanson, that by that point, we could start to see a doubling in the economy literally every single month. So now that we see how profound this technological revolution will be and how it could even cause an economic singularity, the question we should all be asking ourselves is, how can we position ourselves to not be on the disrupted end, but on the receiving end of this technology? Because as we mentioned earlier, There are always two sides to any industrial revolution: the side that rides the wave of the technology and the side that becomes disrupted and replaced. So how can we maximize our positions to ride the wave? And if you look at it, this technology is starting within the digital realms. All of the online service-based businesses will not be needed when every single human owns an AI at an individual level that outperforms any human at any task, right? Why would I hire a marketing agency? Why would I hire a design agency? Why would I hire a development company? I don't need to hire these things to do online digital tasks for me because I own something that can do them much better. And the same thing for software companies. Not all software companies. There will be some that continue to exist, like Uber, Airbnb, social media platforms. These are community platforms. The only reason Uber is valuable is because there's a collection of individuals that are all ride sharing or giving. The only reason it's valuable is because there's other humans on the platform. Is as simple as it gets. If there wasn't billions of humans or millions of humans on a platform, it would be not useful at all because you would never get an Uber. Same thing with Airbnb. If there wasn't millions of people on the platform, you would never find a house to rent out, so therefore it wouldn't be useful. These types of businesses, these types of software companies, these platforms do have moats. They're community moats. So I think those ones will continue to exist, but something that is like a simple software tool, why would I use anybody's software tool ever again when I can create my own for my specific needs at an individual level? Because I have an AI engineer that is very effective at doing that. I simply will not use any other software tools that are like that. So online service-based businesses won't exist. Software businesses won't exist in many cases. So what is there left for people to do online once as we start to see this technology outpacing people online? Because that is where this is starting, as we just mentioned. It's going to go from the digital realm, and then it'll slowly come out to the physical realm. But first, it's going to saturate pretty much every economically viable thing within the digital realms. That's where this technology is native. So we're going to see everything proximity to it starting to be eaten, and then over time, anything you can do on a computer will be fundamentally completely eaten by this technology. And then the only thing left will be to do things within the physical world, and then eventually it'll eat those things as well. So if this technology, if the singularity is starting within the digital realm, you can actually find a high leverage place in the digital realm to position yourself to catch the singularity early. And if you can catch the singularity early within the digital realm and you're positioned well for it, you will have explosive growth far beyond any company that is imaginable. You will have the one-person billion-dollar company that Sam Altman talks about. So the question becomes, what is that business model? What is the opportunity vehicle? What does it look like? What won't be replaced is what we should be asking. We should ask ourselves, what is every single thing that will likely be replaced, and then look in the opposite direction. This is the inversion principle that Charlie Munger uses whenever making investments. So what we should do is look at marketing agencies or any online service-based business, any software company that doesn't have a community moat, and we should say, okay, these are platforms, these are ideas that we should not be doing. Check them off the list. Let's look in the opposite direction. What is something we should be doing? What is something that will not be replaced but enabled by this technology online? And it is simply one simple thing: community-based business models. Any community-based business model, whether it is Uber or it's Airbnb or any type of platform that has a community like the X platform, any type of social media platform, or if you're just building a community on like school.com or Discord, communities will not be replaced by this technology. They will be enabled by this technology because none of the other online businesses will exist. Everything will be flowing to community businesses. And community businesses will be the places where you can provide the most amount of value. Because whenever everybody has a computer at an individual level that can do very complex things, you can now create a community and little subgroups within that community where these individuals can apply their AI together to do very complex things that were once unimaginable to us. And then you can literally have like little groups of people in your communities like building the future, literally, like building extremely complex technology, maybe even having like a little robotics founding startup in this corner, and then have like a computing startup in this corner, and have like an energy technology startup in this corner. Or you could do something completely different, like Web3. Like you could do Web3 communities and have like crypto communities, or you could have gaming communities, or you could have cooking communities. People are going to be looking for entertainment. People are going to be looking for places to find value. They're going to be looking for places to find meaning as they become disrupted and as they become dislocated from their jobs. The number one place people always go whenever they're looking for meaning or they're looking for the next opportunity is congregations of humans. So if you have a community that is a congregation of humans, that is where the demand will go. The supply will be not high enough because there's not a lot of community businesses out there, and the supply of any other services will be met. The demand will no longer be there because we have AI to fulfill the demand there. So now all of the demand funnels towards community businesses since there will not be any other online service-based business besides communities themselves. Other than that, there's going to be hard tech company, deep tech companies, any type of hardware business, manufacturing, for example, are also really good places to go right now. But eventually those will hit the technological singularity and those people will make a lot of money. But for me, I think a very high leverage point to start right now is within the digital realms to catch the singularity early, and then you can bootstrap a hard tech company if you wanted to, because you now have the means to do so because you caught the singularity early enough, which the singularity is coming very fast now. I'm willing to bet by the end of 2025, we'll look back and be like, holy shit, AI agents progressed so much faster than I ever would have expected. We just got the operator from OpenAI. I'm willing to bet in 6 months, it's just as good as any human at operating the computer. And then by the end of the year, it'll be pretty good at edge use cases on the computer. And then by like early 2026 to mid 2026, there will not be a single thing on the computer that this AI isn't better than you at. And then that's when the singularity fully takes off in the digital realm. And the people who have communities that are positioned for it will be reaping the benefits of the singularity while everybody else is like, oh shit, I had a business model that is fundamentally placed. What do I do now? They're going to be looking for communities. So this is why I'm bullish on communities. If you're not building a community, I recommend doing so right now. And in fact, if you want help building a community, my community, we're actually helping our members build communities because we do see just how big this opportunity is and how valuable it's going to be. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and join in the link below. That being said, I hope you found this video insightful and entertaining. If you had any valuable insights, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I want to talk more about this type of content and kind of give more insights as to what we can be doing to maximize our individual agency in the future. I do think while we go through this transition, UBI will probably be something that we see happen in the short term, but I don't think it'll be the long-term solution most people are going to want to rely on, because whenever you rely on UBI, you're now relying on somebody literally having physical leverage over your life, whether it's the government or a private company that is distributing the money to you. They now have the ability to literally decide whether or not you get access to that, whether you want them to or not. This is what happens in communist countries. This is what happens whenever you have literal tyranny. I'm not saying they're going to be intentionally tyrannical, but they definitely could be. The best thing we can do is prevent that from happening by being self-reliant, by being entrepreneurial, which is why I'm creating this YouTube channel, because I'm an entrepreneur. I've built companies in the past. I'm basically applying my frame of thinking, the way I'm doing things, so that other people can get value from that. And then if you decide to, you can join us with what we're doing and build alongside us. Or if not, you can just do whatever you want to do. It's completely up to you. I just want to provide this valuable content, entertaining content, and content that could help anybody who is looking for the help. So that being said, I do recommend starting a community. If you want to join my community, again, the link is in the description below. You don't have to. If you just like watching the YouTube channel, just watch the YouTube channel. Fine by me. Nonetheless, I will see you guys in the next video.